Ebony, Chapter 1. Boom! I whipped around and saw about a square mile of the Nature Clan territory burst into flames. Then I saw Emerald rise above the treetops riding her pet dragon, Cloud. "Emerald!" I yelled, outraged. I smelled smoke. Cloud dived down to where I was standing, more like running. I barely missed getting squished by one of his giant feet. "What did you do this time?" I panted. "Well, nothing. It's just me and Cloud were playing hide-and-go-seek, and we kind of got carried away, and Cloud accidentally set the explosive set on fire, and the whole thing just blew up." "Was it supposed to do that?" she asked. She rubbed the scar on her ankle. "Come on, let's go get Willow," I said. "Why? It's impossible to find her anyway," Emerald stated. "If you had any sense at all, you would know why," I said. "I have sense." I rolled my eyes. "No, you don't, Emerald." "Yeah, I do. I have 25 cents in my pocket. See?" She pulled out a couple of silver coins. I laughed. "You've got me there." "Hurry up, Ebony. You were the one who said you wanted me to go find Willow in the first place," Emerald said impatiently. Suddenly, my Pegasus Storm swooped down from the clouds. He was being chased by some sort of monster. "Shifters," I snarled as I drew back my bow and with an arrow nocked. Emerald took out her quarterstaff. I let arrows fly, and the shifter dodged the first two, but I struck him hard in the shoulder with the third. Emerald hit him on the head with her staff. He was knocked unconscious. Then I saw that Storm was hurt. He had a nasty cut on his hind leg. I smelled blood. "Emerald," I said, "come quick. I think that Storm is hurt." Emerald ran over to Storm and I. "He was cut with a poisonous blade, I think," she said. "Can you heal him?" I asked. "Yes, but it will take some time," she answered. I held my battle stance with my sword out pointing at my opponent. He showed no signs of moving, so I decided to make the first move. I lunged and swung Icidian low, hoping to knock my opponent off his feet. He dodged it, and it only grazed his leg. However, I tripped him and managed to hold him down and put my sword to his throat. When the bell rang, sounding that the battle was over and I had won, I put my sword away and helped him up. "Nice job, Ebony," he said, running a hand through his handsome white blonde hair. Then I mentally scolded myself. I couldn't be having thoughts like these. Sleet was a spy from the shifter's side. I couldn't suddenly decide that I liked him. The idea was just bizarre. I was pulled back from my thoughts when I heard someone say, "Ebony?" "What?" I said, and then I remembered what Sleet had said and quickly said, "Oh, thank you, Sleet." I started walking home from battle training. Then I remembered that I had promised Scarlett to taste her new cake at the bakery, so I turned towards Fire Clan territory. Chapter 2. Scarlett. I thought, where was Ebony? She should be here by now. I was just about to close up the shop when she burst in the door. I'm here, she said. "Well, I can see that, but what took you so long?" I took out a knife to cut the cake. "Sorry, walking here took a little longer than I thought. Also, happy birthday," she explained. "Oh, it's okay," I replied. Happy birthday? What was she talking about? I started to cut 2 slices of my freshly made chocolate strawberry shortcake. I put them on 2 plates and we dug in. "This is really good," said Ebony, her voice muffled by a mouthful of chocolate mousse. "Thanks," I said, feeling a little bit better. I was just about to my front door when it started raining. Great. Just great, I thought. If you didn't know, I'm from Fire Clan, so I hate anything cold or wet, and rain was both. I stumbled over to my house, unlocked the front door, and went inside. Immediately, a wave of vanilla-scented candles and the aroma of lavender wood burning in the fireplace washed over me. Then, as I took my coat off, I saw Jaden sitting in one of the chairs by the fireplace. "Hey, Scarlett," he said coolly. "Hey," I said. "Surprise!" I heard someone shout. I whipped around. Ebony, Emerald, and Willow were all standing by the kitchen, smiling at me. "What?" I asked. "It's your birthday. Come on, Scarlett," shouted Emerald. "What? It's my birthday?" I stared at them questioningly. "Yes," shouted Jaden. I looked over at the calendar. "It is my birthday," I exclaimed. "Thank you, guys," I said cheerfully. They remembered, I thought, just before I felt an excruciating pain in my left leg. Then everything went black. I woke up to the smell of chicken soup and looked down and saw a tray of food placed next to my bed. Immediately, a wave of pain washed over me. "She's awake," I heard a familiar voice say. I looked up and saw Emerald and a short old elf staring down at me. "Where am I asked weakly. "You're in the infirmary," the old elf said. "What?" I asked, trying to get out of bed. I felt a fresh wave of pain and laid back down. Then the old elf whispered something to Emerald and then left the room. "Where's he going?" I asked. "He's going to get Ebony, Jaden, and Willow," said Emerald. "Oh, I was just going to ask why they weren't here." Suddenly, Jaden burst through the door, followed by Ebony and Willow. "Scarlett," Jaden pulled me into a tight hug. "I'm so glad you're okay," he said. "Me too." I kissed him on the cheek. "Here, these are for you," he said, and handed me a bouquet of flowers. "Aw, thank you," I said. "Scarlett?" Willow asked. "Yes," I said, looking at her. "I'm sorry that your birthday was ruined." "Oh, it's all right, but I do have one question." "And I have an answer," said Emerald. "What happened last night?" I asked. "Well, it's a long story," she replied. "Well, when you came home, we were all waiting behind the kitchen counter, and you walked in like we all expected," said Emerald. "You saw Jaden sitting by the fire as planned, and then we all jumped out from behind the counter and yelled surprise. Then we saw a hand reach out from behind your house and throw a knife at you. We didn't know what to do, so we took you to the infirmary," she finished. "I told you Sleet did it," growled Ebony. "You told them I did what?" I heard a voice say as Sleet poked his head through the door. "She thought you threw a knife at Scarlett," Emerald said cheerily. Ebony said, looking at Sleet's truly hurt face. "You what?" he said. "I'm sorry, it's just," she started. "It's just that she doesn't trust you," Emerald interrupted. Sleet's eyes met hers for a second, and then he slammed the door to the hospital room. Chapter 3. Ebony. I sat by the lake crying into my knees when I heard someone approaching. "Who is it?" I asked as I heard someone sit down beside me. "Scarlett," a familiar voice replied. I opened my eyes and saw Scarlett sitting a little ways to my left and said, "Please don't tell anyone you saw me like this." "I promise," she held up her right hand, as if taking a vow. "Come on," she said as she started climbing up a nearby tree. I followed her up the tree and sat next to her on the branch that she was sitting on. "So what's up?" she asked. "You know how Emerald blabbed to Sleet about what I thought about him?" I said. "Yeah, but it's not her fault," she said. "I know it's not her fault, but she just doesn't know when to keep her mouth shut." "Well, it's true, but I didn't want Sleet to know that," I said. "Why?" asked Scarlett. "Because I know that this sounds crazy, but I actually kind of like him." "Promise not to tell anyone?" I asked. "I promise," she responded. "Now let's go get some ice cream to cheer you up." She jumped down from the tree. I followed. "Where are we going to get ice cream?" I asked. "You'll see," she said. "Now, close your eyes." "Make sure that I don't run into anything," I said. "Don't worry, I will," she said. "You what?" I asked. "You won't run into anything," she yelled as we picked up alarming speed. Suddenly, we stopped. "You can open your eyes now," she said. We were at my house. "I should have known," I said, a wide grin spreading across my face. I unlocked the door and we went inside. We walked into the kitchen and got 2 gallons of cherry ice cream out of the freezer. I got out 2 giant bowls and handed Scarlett an ice cream scooper. Then we set to work. Chapter 4. Emerald. "I'm scared," the young elf beside me said. "Don't worry, they won't hurt you," I said as I led him towards the line of mythical creatures. "Now, you're going to put your hand out in front of you and slowly pet each creature." He put his hand out and pet the unicorn, starting the line of animals. Nothing happened. Next was the phoenix. All was quiet. He pet the next animal in line, which was a griffin. A blinding golden flash of light blocked me from seeing anything. When I could see again, I saw the young elf sitting atop the griffin's back. He waved to me. I smiled. "Follow me, we're going to suit you up for riding practice," I said. "How do I get him to follow you?" he asked. "First of all, your griffin is a she, and second of all, you have a mind link with her." I started whistling a jolly tune as I walked towards the stables. "What's your name?" I asked him. "Shock," he said. "Cool." I wrote Shock with a gold paint marker on the light brown saddle. I fixed it atop the griffin's back. "All right, now we're going to suit you up for riding," I said. I gathered up his riding gear. That was when the fireballs started falling from the sky. I was sitting on Cloud, urging him to fly as fast as he could. Ebony was riding on Storm beside me. Willow was back on the ground riding on Lily, her unicorn. Sleet was riding on Hale, his griffin, on the other side of Ebony, and Jaden and Scarlett hitched a ride on Scarlett's phoenix, Magma. We landed in a clearing where we apparently planned to spend the night. I hope the rest of Leisha is okay from the fireballs, I said. I'm sure they're fine, Ebony answered. Suddenly, a small girl with silky light lavender, almost silver curls, and big pine green eyes that were filled with curiosity came out of the trees. She let out a small yelp of surprise. Please don't hurt me, she cried. Chapter 5. Luna. I stared in terror as the group of 6 people studied me carefully. State your name and what you're doing here, said the girl riding the Pegasus. She had her black hair worn in a side braid and a tattoo of a Pegasus wing on her arm. I'm Luna Esme Nori Lamora, and I'm running away from them, I said, emphasizing the word them. Specify them, Pegasus girl said. The Society of the Shadows, I whimpered. At least that's what they call themselves. The Society of the Shadows? The Society of the Shadows. Shifters. She means the shifters. The Pegasus girl looked relieved. I'm Ebony, by the way, and this is Emerald. She pointed to the girl with blonde hair riding the dragon. Willow. She pointed to the girl with the light brown hair riding the unicorn. Sleet. She pointed to Griffin Boy, who had white blonde hair. And finally, Scarlett and Jaden. She pointed to the Phoenix girl with red hair and the boy next to her, who appeared to be her boyfriend. Wait, Willow yelled. What? Asked Ebony, apparently annoyed. I know who Luna is, she said triumphantly. She's descended from the original line of elven queens. How do you know that? Scarlett asked, giving Willow an "Are you serious" look. I recognize the name, she said. Elven history clearly states that there was a long-lost elven princess who mysteriously disappeared and her name was Luna. Although, I don't get this part. It says that she lived like 300 years ago, and if that really is Luna, then she shouldn't be alive. When they captured me, they thought that I was a really valuable hostage, so they made me drink a potion that made me stop aging. So Willow really is right. I am hundreds of years old. How long have you been running away from the shifters? Scarlett asked. Long enough, I responded simply. Where do you live? Want me to show you? Sure, she replied. Follow me. I started walking out of the clearing into the trees where my treehouse stood. Voila!